Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So, welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita discussion. We are still discussing the overviews of the first six chapters based on Sarartha Varshani Tika, basically. In the last class, we were in the overview of the fourth chapter. Now, in the fourth chapter, we have seen, uh, of course, there was some power failure on the first day. That's why we could not continue the discussion for long. Sorry for that. Hopefully, we will not have such disruptions. But internet is internet, unpredictable. So, we had the discussion on the first section. Firstly, how the connection to three and four chapter is there. Krishna speaks about how Karma Yoga elevates and gives the Gyan. In 3.31 to 34, he speaks about how it elevates, and lust is a basic obstacle, and he gives the knowledge how to conquer lust. So he continues to give that Gyan in the fourth chapter. And we saw in verses 1 to 10 how Krishna teaches and establishes Dharma. He speaks about this knowledge, how he gave this knowledge to Vivaswan, sun god. And then Viraswan gave it to Manu, Manu to Ikshvaku, and this is how in the parampara it is coming. And because you're my friend and devotee, Bhakto Simi Saka Cheti, I will, impart this secret to you. Rahasyam Hietad Uttamam. And then Arjuna asked, wait, Vivaswan is very ancient in birth. You are very recent. How is that I can understand that you gave this knowledge to Vivaswan? So then Krishna speaks what is called as the Avatara Tattva. So we saw that Avatara Tattva, 4.6, 7, 8, 9, 10, he speaks. And then ultimately, all goals, Krishna is the goal and the creator of all paths. Ultimately, we saw that. And then how Karma Yoga is a dharma. This is the discussion where we last stopped, you know, because ultimately giving the Avatar Tattva Gyan, understanding this, evam gyatva kritam karma purve rapi mumukshubhi kuru karme tasmatvam purve purvataram kritam. So you also perform Nishkama Karma Yoga. So he is coming back to the discussion of Nishkama Karma Yoga in 4.15. So he starts giving this knowledge because Arjuna's concern is that if I fight this war, then there will be sin. So now he's going to give, the understanding, deeper understanding of karma, how you are not going to be bound, Arjuna, because your actions are as good as no actions. They are a karma. So he speaks about kim karma, kim akarma. What is karma? What is akarma? Kavyopi atra mohita. Even the great kavis are bewildered. That, knowledge about action, I will speak. Tatte karma pravakshami. And karmana api bodhavyam, bodhavyam cha vikarma, akarmanascha bodhavyam, gahana karmano gati. I will speak about karma, vikarma, and akarma. In fact, one sense, Krishna doesn't directly speak in vikarma, but it is included in the discussion. Gahana karmano gati. And then this is the most crucial verse. I think we did not discuss this verse. Karmanya karmaya pashet अकर्मणि कर्म यः स बुद्धिमान मनुष्येषु स युक्तः कृष्ण कर्म कृत. So karmani akarma yapashit. He's doing karma action, but that action doesn't lead to any reaction, so it's as good as inaction. So that's what inaction means. Inaction is not doing activity, no. Inaction is activity which doesn't lead to reaction. So karmani akarma yah pashet. Akarmani ch karma yah. Somebody might be a jnani sannyasi and is not doing any action, but still he is getting bound, karma, in the cycle of karma. So one who can see karmani akarma and akarmani ch karma, he is buddhimana manusheshu. Of course, here it is manusheshu. I don't know why. Sayukta karma krit. He performs all actions. Krishna karma krit. So, you know, Sayukta karma krit has been elaborated from 4.19 to 23, these five verses. So we will see this now. Now, I've I've practically spent one entire class on this, so I will not be going into the details of this as of now, but we are just having a brief overview. Karmani akarma yapashet. Akarma, no karmic reaction. See, in external activity, no karmic reaction. Arjuna's fighting leads to no karmic reaction. Akarmani cha karma iha. Akarma, no external activity. See, in external inactivity, karmic reaction. Arjuna's silent meditation leads to karmic reaction. So we saw this quite elaborately. This is what Krishna is saying. Now he elaborates this in five verses. Sayukta Krishna Karma Krit. Although he is engaged, because he is Buddhimana, his karmani is a karma only. So now he speaks about that consciousness. Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjita jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamaho panditam buddha. The wise say, Buddha ahu. This is the wise who say that he is learned. The wise say that he is learned. Pandita, tam pandita, who engaging in all activities. Yasya sarve samarambha. Arambha means, you know, activities, who begins his activities. Samarambha means he is completely engaged in all activities, but being devoid of the desire for enjoyment. Kama sankalpa varjita. So this is in one sense, elaborating the elaborating karmanyavadhikarasti ma phaleshu kadachana. One should not desire the fruits. Kama sankalpa varjita. He takes a sankalpa that I am not going to enjoy the fruits of my work. So that's why he is Nishkama Karma Yogi, has burned up all reactions. Jnanagni, by the fire of knowledge. Jnanagni Dagda Karmana. So this is the first thing Krishna explains. Then, Tektva Karma Phala Sangam Nitya Trupto Nirashaya Karmanya Pravrittopi Naiva Kinchit Karoti Saha. Though intently engaged in actions, Karmanya Apravrittopi, having given up the desire for the results of the actions. Now, this is very important. How do you know that your Kama Sankalpa Varjita? You have to see when the results come, what is in their consciousness, how much you get affected in your consciousness. So, because he is Kama Sankalpa Varjita, definitely he'll be Tekta Karma Phala Sangam. Nitya Trupta Nirashaya, he's Nitya Trupta. Karmanya Apravrittopi, although he is engaged in all sorts of actions, you know, Naiva Kinchit Karomiti, this person does not do anything at all. Because karmani akarmaya pashet. He is actually doing actions, but it is as good as no actions because it is nishkama karma yoga. So this is the consciousness in which you should act, Arjuna, in this war. That's what. Nirashirayata chittatma tetva sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvannapnokti kilbisham. Having given up all sense of taking from others. Tetva sarva parigraha, becoming free from any sense of possessiveness, being without desire, nirashir, and control the mind and body, yata chittatma. So in one sense he has control of the mind and the body, performing acts, kurvan karma, only to support his body, shariram kevalam, he does not incur sin. Naiva kinchit karomiti, he does not incur sin. Sorry, napnoti kilpisha. Then further that level higher. So here Yata Chittatma refers to a higher degree of control. He began with Kama Sankalpa Varjita and Tektva Karma Phalam. This is based on Dhamma. And there is Shama, control of the body and the mind and the senses, Shama. So in one sense, I mentioned it is like Nishta stage. But of course, there is difference between Nishkam Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. But you can parallelly draw some lines like that. because the same principles will be applied in Nishkama Bhakti Yoga also. Mhm. Yadricha labha santushta द्वन्द्वातीत विमत्सर समसिद्धावसिद्धौ च कृत्वापि न निबध्यते. Satisfied with what comes on its own accord. Yadricha labha santushta. It is santushta. One second. Free from dualities. Dvanda Atita. He is Atita Dvanda. Free from envy. Vimatsara. Calm in the face of success and failure. Sama Siddha Asiddha. So another thing, Tektva Sarva Kalam, Karma Phalam, how you can understand? Because he's calm in the face of success and failure. Though engaging in work, Kritvapi, that person is not known. Na Nibadyate. And then the higher level of consciousness, Gata Sangasya Muktasya Jnanavastita Chetasa Yagyacharata Karma Samagram Praviliyate. Devoid of the desire for results, Muktasya, free from attachment, Gata Sangasya, absorbed in knowledge, Jnanavastita Chetasa, and engaged in actions of Yagya. Yagyaya Acharit Karma. So Krishna had spoken about Yagya in 3.9. So all his actions are like yajna because they are meant for the pleasure of the Lord. You know, Nishkama Karma Yoga is offering the actions to the Supreme Lord. He does not acquire karmic reactions. Samagram pravilate. You know? ब्रह्मर्पणं ब्रह्महविर्ब्रह्माग्नो ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मेण तेव गन्तव्यं ब्रह्म कर्म समाधिना. The obligations consisting of Brahman, Brahmarpanam, with Brahman as the ladle, Brahmahavir, is offered into the fire which is Brahman, Brahmagno, is offered into the fire which is Brahman, Brahmagno Hutam, by the person who is a Brahmana. Brahmana. The person Brahman attains Brahman, Brahmena Teva Gantavyam, being absorbed in the actions of Brahman, Brahma Karma Samadhina. So this is the concept of Yagya, which was Yagyaya Acharita Karma was mentioned in the previous verse. How there is the Brahmana priest, he's the Atma, spiritual, and he's having the ladle in the Yagya, the spoon. The ladle is also material, but still it is considered as everything is, non-different from the Lord, Sarvam idam kalo Brahman, So in that sense, the Arpanam is also seen spiritual. The Havi, the offering, ghee, is also seen spiritual. And the Agni, fire, is also seen as the mouth of Vishnu, it is spiritual. So Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam, and ultimately the result, Brahmena Tena Gantavya, the realization of the self only it is. So all these actions are considered as Brahman, spiritual, and that's why there is no reactions. So this is a very famous verse. Ultimately, in Krishna in 9.16, he will reveal that, I am Aham Yagya, Aham Kratu, Aham Agno, Ultimately, who here it is mentioned as Brahman. Who is that supreme Brahman? Krishna reveals in the middle six chapters. Okay, although these materials like the ladle, ghee is material, but it is considered, spiritual in the application sense, not in the compositional sense, what it is composed. It is composed of material things, but because it is used in the service of the Lord, so in that sense, it is considered as spiritual. So Arjuna is told to re-envision the battlefield as yagya. The battlefield is like the yagyasali, the ladle or the spoon is the Gandiva bow, the ahuti are the Kauravas, Havi, Agni, and the person accepting the offering is a universal form. So now, having uh, having given the concept of yagya, Brahmarpanam, now all these different types of yagyas, achieving gyan through yagyas, will be delineated from 25 to 33. So I'll take these two sections now. But before that, if you have any questions or clarifications, I can take up. Any questions, any clarifications up till now? Do you have any questions? Any burning questions? Okay, so then we will continue the discussion. So now Krishna will speak about these different yagyas. So I have summarized everything and I'll just go through the verses, you know. So Brahma Arpanam, it is Brahman. Brahmahavi is also seen as spiritual Brahman. Brahmagno is also Brahman, the Lord, who is Vishnu is said as the Agni, the fire of the yagya. And Brahmana Hutam, the Brahmana is Brahmana. You see him like that. And they are meant for achieving Brahman, you know. So all the actions are considered as Brahman. So now he will start explaining the first yagya. Daivam eva apare yagyam yogino paripasate brahmagno apare yagyam yagneva upajuvati. Others, however, apare karma yogis, yogina, engage in worship of Devata. Daivam eva apare pariyupasate. And the Gyan yogis apare offer upajuvati, the jiva yagyam, into the fire of Brahman, brahmagno, by the means of mantra Om. So here what Krishna is saying, that Arpanam they do, to the devas, the dravyas, obligations. They do it to maybe Indra. They consider themselves as a body and they want to go to heaven. So this is Kame Karma, Sakama Karma Yoga here you can say, because ultimately yoga is mentioned. There's a directly realization happening of the, purification of the goal happens gradually. So in that sense, it is mentioned as yoga. And then Arpanam here is the jiva, and Agno is the, you know, they offer it Yagneva Upajivati, Brahmagno. So the Brahman is considered as a fire, the all pervading Brahman, and they offer the jiva into it. So like that, in that sense, you know, so to realize, they think themselves as Atma and to realize Brahman. So this is the Gyan Yagya. So next, take 26. श्रोत्या श्रोत्रादीन इन्द्रियाण्यन्ये संयमाग्नेषु जिह्वति शब्दादीन् विषयान् अन्ये इन्द्रियाग्नेषु जिह्वति. I don't know why. श्रोत्रादीनि इन्द्रियाण्यन्ये संयमाग्निषु जिह्वति शब्दादीनि विषयानन्ये विषयानन्ये इन्द्रियाग्निषु जिह्वति. So the Naishtika brahmacharis offer the senses, Shrotra Adini, Indriyani, into the control mind. Sanyam Agnishu Jivati. Other brahmacharis, Anya, offer the sense objects, Shabdadini, Vishayan, into the fire of senses. So here the yagya is what? Basically, the arpanam is the senses and the agno is the mind. So the brahmacharis offer the senses in the mind and thereby achieve sense control to realize the self, and they attain Brahman. These are the brahmacharis. The grahastas offer the sense objects in the senses. The senses become the Agni, also to realize the self, and they are also attain Brahman, the grahas brahmacharis. And then the next verse explains about the pranayam. सर्वेन्द्रियाणि कर्माणि प्राणकर्माणि चापरे आत्मसंयम्या योगाग्नो जिह्वति ज्ञानदीपते. Others offer apare jivati, all the activities of senses, sarvani indriyani karmani, and the pranas, prana karmani, into the fire of the soul. Atma sanyamna sanyama yogagno, lit by knowledge. So here it is what? The senses and the pranas are offered in the mind by yoga to realize the self, you know. And then they attain also Brahman. These are the Kaivalavadi yogis. And then the next is Dravya Yagya Stapo Yagya Yoga Yagya Statapare Swadhyaya Yagya Jnana Yagya Yatate Samsita Vrate. So all these, uh, all these different yagyas have been, mentioned. Of course, the details of what is the Arpanam, what is the Agni is not given. There are Samasta Vrata, Samsritavata, severe vows of what? Dravya Yagya, charity, Tapa Yagya, austerities, Ashtanga, Yoga Yagya and studying the Vedas, Swadhyaya Yagya, Gyan Yagya. And then there is Apane Jivati Pranam, Prane Panam Tata Pare, Pranapana Gati Rudva, Pranayama Parayana, Apare Niyatahara, Pranan Praneshu Jivati. So here, this verse 29 is mentioning about the pranayam process where the breathing and the senses, the pranas are offered in the breath is offered in the pranas. So the pranas become the fire. And then they also realize the Atma and they realize Brahman. These are the Hatha yogis. There are Nihatara, the yogis who restrict the senses by eating apare Nihatara ahara. And they also offer the pranas and thereby realize the self. So like that, all these yagyas have been mentioned. So there is the Nishkama Karma Yoga. There is the worship of the Devatas, Sakama Karma Yoga. Then there is offering Atma to Brahman, Gyan Yoga, restraining the senses, Naishtik Brahmacharis, remaining indifferent to the actions of the senses, Grahastha Brahmacharis, restraining the senses and prana. This is the Gyan Yagya. Practicing severe vows, Karma, Jnana, Ashtanga, controlling the breath, and then restraining eating. All these are different types of yagyas. Then, what is the result of these yagyas? Sarvyapete yagya vido, yagya shpita kalmasha, yagya shishtamrita bhujo, yanti brahma sanatana. All the knowers of sacrifice, sarve api ete yagya vido, yagya shipita kalmasha, destroys sin through sacrifice, eating the sweet remnants of the sacrifice. Yes, yagya shishtamrita. They enjoy the sweet remnants of the sacrifice and they attain eternal Brahman. Yanti Brahma Satanat. So there are three foods. Impurities are removed. One enjoys the fruits of yagya even in this world, and one attains supreme Brahman. Yanti Brahma Satanat. One who doesn't do the yagya, what is his result? Nayam lokostya agyasya kuto anya kuru sattama. The person who does not perform sacrifice, ayagyasya, attains nothing in this life. Nayam lokosti. What to speak of the next? Kuto anya. O best of the Kurus, Kuru Sattama. Then, why these different types of yagyas? Because people are of different mentalities. Why there are different types of medicine in the medicine shop? Because there are different diseases. So because of the conditioned state of the souls, they are inclined towards various processes, and these processes are spread in the mouth of Brahman or the mouth of the Vedas, you can say. Evam बहुविधा यज्ञाः वितते ब्राह्मणो मुखे कर्मजाम विद्धितान् सर्वान् evam gyatva vimokshase. Thus, many types of sacrifice, evam bahuvida yagya, have been described in the Vedas. Vitata brahmano mukhe. Know that they are all based on the prescribed actions of body, mind, and words. Karmajan vidditan sarvan. Knowing and practicing this, you will be liberated. Evam gyatva vimokshasi. Vimokshase. So this is the while, and then he puts a hierarchy which is better. Shreyan dravyamayad yagyaj jnana yagya parantapa sarvam karma kilam partha jnane pari samapyate. O afflictor of enemies, Parantapa, the sacrifice involving jnana yagya, is higher than the sacrifice of materials. Shreyan dravyamayad yagyat. So the offering of the spirit, which was mentioned in 4.25 verse, that is superior to the Dravya Yagya. With the attainment of knowledge, Jnani, O son of Partha, Pritha, all actions cease. Sarva karma akilam parisamapati. So ultimately, Nishkam Karma Yoga begins with Gyan that I should not desire the fruits. And this Gyan keeps on increasing and your Sattva increases. And ultimately, you come to a point where sarva karma akilam parisamapati. All the actions are in the form of yagya only, and they don't yield any reactions. So you come to the stage of nishkarmya. So you are steadily situated in gyan. So this is jnane parisamapyate. Now, the glory of that Divya Gyan will be given in verses 34 to 42. This is a small section. We will see it quickly. But any questions you have up till now? Any questions, any clarifications up till now? Anyone has any questions, any clarifications? Okay, so then we will just conclude this section. Now, the glory of Divya Gyan. Now, Arjuna must have a question that how do I know which sacrifice I should do? Krishna answers, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Know this by surrender. Tad vidhi pranipatena. Questioning and service. Pariprashnena sevaya. So, pariprashnena sevaya. The seers of truth, Tattvadarshina, the Jnanis, Te Jnanina, will teach you this knowledge. Jnanam Upadikshante. So here again, so Krishna is speaking about, Upadikshante Te Jnanam. Upadiksha refers to Diksha, means giving transcendental knowledge. Jnaninas Tattvadarshina, because they have realized the truth in their darshan. They are the seers of the truth. They have spiritual eyes by which they can realize the truth of this world, truth of the material world, the Lord, the Jiva, everything. So Arjuna, which yagya you have to perform? You have to go to the spiritual master, surrender to him. Know this by surrender, questioning and service. Pariprashrana seva, the sayers of truth, Tattvadarshana, the Jnanis will teach you this knowledge. Now, what is the result of the knowledge? Krishna speaks in verse 35. Yajgyatva na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutyana sheshena drakshyasi atmano atomai. O son of Pandava, knowing this, Yajgyatva, you will no longer be bewildered. Na punarmoham yasisi. By this loss of bewilderment, yena, you will see, drakshasi, that all entities, asheshani bhutani, are individual atmas, atmani, and are situated in me. Atho mai. So, when your knowledge will be realized by learning from the Guru, when you will be able to realize that knowledge, when is that? When does it happen? Any idea? Anyone will tell me? When you'll realize that after going to the Acharya, your surrender, pranipata, your questioning, pariprashna, and sevaya has attained the fruit or maturity, when you will come to know? When? Anyone who will answer this? Navneet Kalra Mataji?
Is it only in reference to this verse, Prabhuji?
Yes, only when you are able to see that
To see
all
the every all the living entities are in the Supreme.
they are atmas and they are situated in me. Only when you come to this point, till then you should continue doing pariprashnena, pranipata, sevaya. And then when you realize you will do that naturally out of love and it is spontaneous activity of the soul. So that is the result of learning knowledge from the spiritual master. And then Krishna speaks about how this knowledge destroys all sin. Api chedasi papebhya sarvebhya papakrittama sarvam jnana plamneneva vrijanam santarishyasi. I don't know. Somebody have to tell them to change this. Even if you are the most sinful among sinners, sarvebhya papebhya papkrittama asi. You will cross over all sins. Sarvam Vrijinam Santarshi just by the boat of knowledge. So the glory of this knowledge, Krishna is speaking. Ultimately, here it is saying api chet. That's what Vishnu Chakatakur in his commentary mentions. That even if you are, which is generally not the case, because by performing Nishkam Karma Yoga and being situated in Gyan, you have purified. But even if you are like that sinful, still you will be purified. That's what, you know, that's what the point he is making. So, you will cross by the boat of knowledge. So that's what the point Krishna is making. यते धामसि समोऽग्निर्भस्मसात् कुरुते अर्जुन ज्ञानग्नि सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा. So he gives an example here. As a blazing fire, yata samagno agnir. Agni is fire, but samagno means blazing fire. Burns to ashes, bhasmasat kurute. All food, sorry, not food, wood. Idhamsi, the fire of knowledge, tata agni turns all actions into to ashes. Sarva karmani basvasat gurute. So the comparison here is blazing fire to Gyan, Agni, and wood is to karma, and ashes. The karma is turned into ashes, so that karma becomes a karma. So it's as good as no actions. Now, the beauty, glory of this Gyan. Nahi Gyanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate tat swayam yoga samsiddha khalena atmani vindati. In this world, iha, there is nothing as pure as knowledge. Nahi Gyanena sadrisham pavitram vidyate. After some time, kalena, it is attained of its it is attained of itself from within. Tat swayam atmani vindati, to practice of Nishkam Karma Yoga, Yoga Samsiddhim. So basically, Satvat Sanjayate Jnanam. As you practice Nishkam Karma Yoga and the Jnana Agni burns to ashes all the karma, then there is gradual revelation happening. So knowledge is revealed in the heart. Prakashati Tat Param. It will come in the fifth chapter also. So the point what I was trying to make is that in Krishna Nishkam Karma Yoga, initially, there is action in the mode of passion, but we do it with knowledge that I should not desire the fruits. And slowly, slowly, when you start doing action, there is action in the mode of goodness. Then there is natural vindati. Vindati means, you start taking pleasure within yourself. Govinda, like that. So similarly in bhakti, in bhajan kriya, there is struggle with the anarthas. But as you cross bhajan kriya and attain nishta, then there is pleasure like that. Shraddhavan labate jnanam तत्पर संयमत इंद्रिय ज्ञानम लब्ध्वा पराम शांतिम अचिरेनाधिगच्छति. Having faith in scripture, Shraddhavan, being fixed in the practice of Nishkama Karma Yoga, Tatpara, and finally attaining control of the senses, Sanyamata Indriya, one attains knowledge, Labdam Jnanam, attaining knowledge, Jnanam Labda, one quickly attains Achirena Adhikachati, freedom from samsar, Param Shantim, cycle of birth and death. So here I, equate it to Naishtiki Bhajan Kriya, when the bhajan is steady. So then your mind and senses are controlled, and then very quickly you attain Shanti in the form of, no material desires. So that's the point in the process of bhakti. Now Krishna speaks about those who don't attain this knowledge. Vishnu Chakatakur says, Agyascha ashraddhadanascha samshayatma vinashyati nayam lokosti na parah na sukam samshayatmana. The person ignorant of scriptures, Agyascha, or one who knows scripture but has no faith in it, ashraddhadanascha, or one who is doubtful of attaining the goal even with faith, samshayatmana, perishes, vinashati. One who is afflicted with doubt, samshaya atmana, attains nothing in this life. Na ayam lokasti, nothing in the next. Na paro, and no happiness, no sukham. So Krishna speaks about three categories: the ignorant because they don't have knowledge of the scriptures. They, what hope is there for them? But there are others who have knowledge of the scriptures, but still they don't have faith in the scriptures. They are still worst. And the third category is the samshayatma. They are very doubtful. What is Krishna is telling lies, you know. Janma karma cha me divam evam vyavati tatata tattva deham punarjanma neti mameti so Arjuna. So like that, when they, doubt the statements of the Lord, the samshayatma, Krishna says that they will perish, vinashati. And one who is the samshayatmana attains nothing in this life, nor in the next, and no happiness. So the samshayatma is highly criticized here. And then, having given this knowledge, Krishna has glorified Gyan. Now Krishna, you know, motivates Arjuna to fight with knowledge. Yoga sanyasta karmanam jnana sanchinna samshaya atmavantam na karmani nibadnante dhananjaya. Actions karmani do not bind, na nibadnanti, the person who has renounced all actions. Sanyasyat karmanam, through nishkam karma yoga. Who has then cut all doubts, sanchinna samshaya. So, what is Krishna doing here is by giving knowledge, he is dispelling the doubts of Arjuna. You know, one who has then cut all doubts. 1 minute. No, I'll have to draw and erase this. Yeah. Actions, karmani do not bind the person who has renounced all actions. Sanyasta karmana through nishkama karma yoga. So yoga here refers to nishkam karma yoga, who has then cut all doubts, sanchina samshaya, through jnana yoga, jnana, and who has then attained direct realization of the Atman, Atmavantam. So here Arjuna, yoga sanyasta, he hears that, one should be in yoga, sanyas, all actions. He should give sannyas to all actions. That means he should not perform any action. That's what he thinks is the meaning, because in his mind he somehow wants to take sannyas and avoid this karma of ghora karma of fighting. But Krishna is saying what's wrong is yoga sannyasta means renouncing all actions. Renouncing all actions means performing actions in a renounced spirit, that is detached action. But Arjuna takes it otherwise, and then he puts this question in the 5th chapter. And one who's situated in the self, Atmavantam, na karmani, he actually doesn't do any actions, and that's why he is not bound. He's not bound. So that is what Krishna instructs. And then he concludes this topic by this last verse in the verse 42. Tasmad ajnana sambhutam hristam jnana asina atmana chitvainam samshayam yogam atishtottishta bharata. Yoga sanyasta karmanam. 1 second, let me change this. Yeah. Atishta uttishta bharata it is. Therefore, tasmat, cutting all doubts, chitvainam enam samshayam, which have arisen from ignorance, ristam jnanam ajnana sambhutam, with the sword of knowledge, jnana asina atmana, taking shelter of nishkam karma yoga, yogam atishta, rise, O Bharata, uttishta Bharata. So that's what he again, tells him to perform his duty of nishkama karma yoga. So that's how this chapter concludes. So I've just briefly gone through the overview of this chapter because I felt that we should complete the overview quickly and start the verse by verse discussion on the seventh chapter. So tomorrow we'll start with the fifth chapter and also complete the sixth chapter, and then we'll start with the seventh chapter verse by verse discussion. So any questions, any clarifications you have up till now, what we discussed? Yes, Navneet Kalra Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I
Yeah.
just want to understand, is there any link between samshaya and false ego?
Samshay and false ego. Oh, interesting. Basically, it's ultimately the ego is avidya, covering hmm, the false identity, and it manifests in the form of lust, anger, pride, you know, you know, and all these are different aspects of the false ego in one sense. And even doubts are also in one sense. That's why Prabhupada says doubts are like demons. And doubts are a sign of intelligence. Doubts are also demons. And if these demons are not cut or not destroyed by knowledge, then they will act as obstacles. So the doubts are, intelligence. They are at the level of the intelligence. And by dispelling your doubts, you can purify the intelligence. The desires are connected with the minds. The doubts are compared to, like they are connected to the intelligence. And doubts are like brakes, they say. Just if you're accelerating your car and the same time you're applying brake, you don't move ahead.
Mm.
So when you have doubts, samshay atma, then you don't make progress. At the same time, uh, having these kind of doubts, but you need to be also sincere. But if you are a doubting soul, everything you doubt on, you doubt on the spiritual master, you doubt on, everything, then that kind of samshayatma, it's very difficult to make progress because the soul itself is very skeptical about everything. So those skeptics, Prabhupada speaks about in his purport to 4.9, Vita Raga, Vita Bhaya, and Vita Krodha. you know so those skeptics, they doubt everything, they doubt themselves also. Like that, if we are, then it becomes very difficult. Basically, one has to be sincere in his heart. That's it. That's very important. And doubts, if you have, yes, we should genuinely place them in a proper method, not in a challenging spirit,
Mm.
and place it before the spiritual master in a way which it is submissive, and by pariprashna and sevaya, and then gradually the doubts can be dispelled and ignorance can be dissipated. That's how we have to understand. Is it clear, Mataji?
Yeah, so the praying to the Lord would help that we are
Yes,
free
yes,
from our doubts.
yes, definitely.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Any other questions anyone else has? Yes, check Rama Prabhuji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Ramal Pranam Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, it's regarding 440,
Uh-huh.
the faith part. What I understand that if I have a faith 100%, then Shraddha is there. But for I have what I have learned throughout all this my life, Shraddha is a very negligible amount inside me. I'm not in Shraddha, complete Shraddha yet,
Mm-hmm.
even after being disciple for quite some time now of this con.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Disciple of ISKCON, you're disciple of a
Guru Maharaj in
ISKCON is an
under this con
institute. Yeah.
institute, under this
You're a
con
disciple of
institute.
a spiritual master who is connected in
Uh,
the Guru Shish Parampara, which is coming by the founder Acharya ISKCON. See, basically, you have to understand this very important point. Actually, devotees have this is very important. And
440.
yes, I'm just trying to bring out, you know, actually, what is Shraddha? Shraddha is a very deep term, and Shraddha is development of knowledge. Actually, it is jnana in one sense. This is bhakti jnana, bhakti, literature jnana. That is hearing Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the 4 books Prabhupada mentions. So, there is a development of Shraddha which is happening. And when our Shraddha develops, when all the doubts are dispelled, and the heart gets purified, the antakaran gets purified, then what you attain is called as Shastriya Shraddha. From here onwards, your bhakti becomes more, there is fixity in bhakti, and there is advancement you make. There is also advancement in one sense you're making, but you're still like, in the school, no, we have this kindergarten, you know, kindergarten school, From there, you have to go to the school. So this is like a training. And there you enter the school of bhakti. So similarly, all this knowledge, what you're attaining, by which, and this takes time. Even for engineering, you have to give 4 years. Yes, Prabhuji?
Agree.
And then after engineering, you are not an engineer. Although you might say, I have an engineering degree, you need to have experience, maybe at least 5 years. Okay? And then you are an experienced engineer after another 10 years. So how many years are going? At least 10, 15 years are going in getting expertise. So similarly, you have to spend many years understanding, studying Shastra. And that's why studying, especially Bhagavad Gita, very important, very important. Bhagavad Gita, NOI, NOD, and then later on Bhagavatam and CC. When you study these over a period of 10, 15 years, then there is a development of Shraddha happening. And within this Shraddha to Shastriya Shraddha, within this, we start following the regulative principles, take shelter of the spiritual master, and then take initiation. But still, we have to understand we are in the kindergarten school. Please remember that. So slowly, when that, Shastriya Shraddha develops, Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Sudruda Nishtay Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krit Hoy. Then, so there is a gradual development happening. We are in the school. We have to remember that. Okay?
Yes, maybe.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions anyone else has about this topic, 4th chapter, and we discussed? Okay, so we'll stop and tomorrow we'll start with the 5th chapter. So 5th and 6th this week we'll complete and we'll actually start the 7th chapter very soon now. Hare Krishna. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai. Hare Krishna.